Hello friends, how are you? Today I am again back with you few topics of evolution part 4 of 12th standard. It is the last part. So today's topics for discussion are Hardy-Weinberg principle, factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, effect of natural selection, history of evolution of animals, plants and human evolution. Let us first discuss about Hardy-Weinberg principle. According to this principle, allele frequencies in a population are stable and constant from generation to generation in sexually reproducing organism. Meaning thereby is that the total genes and their alleles in a population remain constant and it is called genetic equilibrium. Suppose individual frequencies can be named P, Q, etc. In a diploid organism, P and Q represent frequencies of allele A and capital A and allele small a. That is, one is dominant, another is recessive. Thus, the frequency of dominant individual, that is capital A, in a population is P square, and small a, that is recessive, is Q square, and heterozygous capital A and small a is 2pq. Thus, the sum total of all the allelic frequencies is 1 and it is represented as p plus q whole square, or p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. Whenever there is any disturbance in this genetic equilibrium, then it results in evolution. Now let us see what are the factors that affect Hardy-Weinberg principle. There are several factors. One by one it will be discussed here. First factor is gene migration. Gene migration means shifting of individual from one population to other population. It is also due to coming of individuals in a population. In both the cases, there is change in the gene pool. In the first case, genes are lost, but in the second case, genes are added. So, if gene migration continues, then gene flow occurs. Second factor is about genetic drift. It is due to random changes in the allele frequency of a population. It is a matter of chance. When the changes are more, then new species may be originated. In this case, the original drifted population is called founder, and the changes in the phenotype and genotype of the progeny is called founder effect. Next factor affecting Hardy-Weinberg principle is mutation. As you all know that mutation is a sudden abrupt changes in the genetic constitution and is random and also occurs at very slow rate, but it is quite sufficient to create genetic variation. And when genetic variations occur, then it leads to origin of newer species. Next factor is recombination. During meiosis 1 in packaging, crossing over takes place. This occurs during the process of gametogenesis, that is formation of gametes. Due to crossing over, recombination of genes occur, which are responsible for creating variation. And last factor is the natural selection. So, in natural selection, it makes the population look entirely different from the original population, and it is selected by nature. So, this also leads to speciation. Now, the next topic is what are the effect of natural selection. Natural selection can lead to stabilization, directional change, or disruption. So let us see what are the differences between them. In stabilization, more individuals acquired mean character value, means variation is much reduced. In directional change, more individuals acquire value other than the mean character value, whereas in disruption, more individuals acquire peripheral character value at both ends of the distribution curve, forming two peaks. Here it is the diagrammatic representation of the operation of natural selection on different traits. Figure A represent stabilizing, B is directional, and C is disruptive. You may observe here that in stabilizing, peaks get higher and narrower. In directional, peak shifts in one direction, whereas in disruptives, two peaks are formed. Now, let us see about history of evolution of animals. First cellular life forms appeared about 2000 million years ago. After that, gradually from this single celled organism, multicellular organisms are evolved. It was estimated that about 500 million years before invertebrates were formed, and jawless fish must have evolved, and 350 evolved around 350 million years ago, and at the same time fish with stout and strong fins that could move on land and go back to water must evolve. After that, coelacanth or lobe fins were evolved, which were the ancestors of modern day frogs and salamander. Further, these amphibians evolved into reptiles. In the next 200 million years, reptiles of different shapes and sizes dominated the earth, and some of these land reptiles now moved into water to evolve into fish like reptiles. Example, ichthyosaurs. Same time, 200 million years ago. Now, about 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs suddenly disappeared from the earth. It was not clear why they became extinct. According to some, it is due to climatic change, and according to some, they evolved into birds. But still, small reptiles continue to exist even today. Now it is the time to evolve mammals and they start dominating the earth. The first mammals were like screws. There were also evolution of mammals like horse, hippopotamus, rabbit, bear, etc. in South America. Then Australian land mass remained isolated and the paused mammals survived as there was not competition for any other mammals. It was known about the evolutionary history of horse, elephant, dog and man. The given figure reveals about the representative evolutionary history of vertebrates through geological period. Now let us see about the history of evolution of plants. It was thought that around 2000 million years ago, single-celled organisms evolved which had pigment to capture solar energy and thereby releasing oxygen by the process of photosynthesis. Bryophytes were the first plant to colonize land and seaweeds, and few plants existed around 320 million years ago. About 200 million years ago, before giant ferns were present, but they all fell to form coal deposits slowly. After that, herbaceous lycopods and arborescent lycopods evolved from Gasterophyllum of Paleozoic era. Xylophytum is the most common ancestor for horsetail, ferns and gymnosperm as well as angiosperm. Here in this figure, you may observe the sketches of evolution of plants formed through geological periods. Now let us see about the history of evolution of man. About 15 million years ago, primates called Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus were existing. Both Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus were hairy and walked like gorillas and chimpanzees. Out of these two, Dryopithecus was more ape-like, but Ramapithecus was more man-like. So it is considered the forerunner of hominid evolution. You can observe here the skull size of Australopithecus, chimpanzees and human. Now, the last topic of today's session is evolution of man. There is one mnemonics about human evolution. It is like this. ड्राइनेस होने पर राम जी ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए, लौट के घर आए तो सीधे खड़े हुए और सुपरमैन कहलाए. व्हाट इज दिस? ड्राइनेस होने पर राम जी ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए, लौट के घर आए तो सीधे खड़े हुए और सुपरमैन कहलाए. So the sequence of human evolution is Dryopithecus, then Ramapithecus, then Australopithecus, then Homo habilis, then Homo erectus, and finally Homo sapien. Here in this mnemonics, dryness is for Dryopithecus, Ramji is for Ramapithecus, Australia for Australopithecus, Ghar for Homo habilis, Sidhe for Homo erectus, and Superman for Homo sapiens. So, by memorizing these mnemonics, you can easily remember the evolution of man. Okay, friends? So, let us see about all this. First is about Australopithecus. As Ramapithecus and Dryopithecus we have discussed earlier in the history of evolution of human being. So, Australopithecus, which probably lived 2 million years ago in the East African grassland and had a brain capacity for 50 to 600 cubic centimeter. They used to hunt with stones weapons and they used to eat fruits. Means they were herbaceous. Next is about Homo habilis, which is called the first human-like being the hominid. In this, the brain capacity is 650 to 800 cc, that is cubic centimeter. They also do not eat meat. Here in the figure, you may observe Australopithecus and Homo habilis. Now it is about Homo erectus. Fossils of Homo erectus were found in Java in 1981. They probably lived about 1.5 million years ago, having brain capacity 900 cubic centimeter, and they probably eat meat. Fossils of Homo sapiens, primitive man, were found in near East and Central Asia. They must lived between 1 lakh to 40,000 years ago. Neanderthal man had brain capacity of about 1400 cc, that is 1400 cc. They used hides to protect the body and started burying the dead ones. They also moved across the continents and developed into distinct races. Last one is Homo sapiens sapiens, that is modern man, which arose during the Ice Age between 75,000 to 10,000 years ago. He is spread all over the globe and learned to cultivate plants and used to domesticate animals. These two things are very important. They learned to cultivate plants and used to domesticate animals. Some prehistoric cave art were developed about 18,000 years before. After that, they started agriculture around 10,000 years back, and human settlement and civilizations started. In this figure, you may observe the evolution of human being. You may compare the size of brain capacity, which you may find that it goes on increasing. This is also about the same, about evolution of man. Here also you may observe how they evolved. So this is all about today's session, children. Thank you, and for any kind of doubts, please write your comment in question box.